Hello everyone, it's me Jenny, and yay, first comment commentary of the year. And I've got to be honest, I'm really tired at the moment, and I kind of just want to go to bed. It's quite late, and I just got home from D&D. But daily vlogging, it's a thing, so I'm going to do my comment commentary because I answered all your comments this morning, and then had to go to work, and then I went straight from work to D&D. So all of your comments from the last load of videos, I have answered, but comment commentary, it's the second viewing, as it were. Anyway, kind of, I'll try and go more or less chronologically, but there's a lot of videos. Usually it'll just be 7 videos, but for this particular comment commentary, it goes back quite a while because I haven't responded to your comments in quite a while. So, go back to my Skyrim video, thoughts on buying the drug, in which I buy skooma for the first time, I think in-game, for the first time, and Nathan Lyle sent me a very funny clip from, he did respond, but I haven't refreshed that page. 1 second. Oh no, I'm out of signal. Dang it, I refreshed and now the tab's gone. Stupid filming in my bedroom. I saw that Nathan Lyle responded to that particular one and sent me a very funny video, and someone else did, but I've closed the tab and I'm sorry. But there we go. Your comments have been responded to. I just can't see them right now because I'm out of signal on this side of my bedroom. But thank you for your comments. That video was actually a really good time. I love Skyrim so much. It's just such a fun game. And talking on Skyrim, another one of my Skyrim videos was talking about Anime Club. And Baxorn was one of the people who was part of the Anime Club, along with a couple of other of my YouTube friends, and he commented that it never came back. The last series that he watched was Archer, which is a good series from what I've heard, but I haven't had a chance to watch it. It's on my to watch list, but it's not high on my to watch list. Quite a lot of adult humor-y shows don't necessarily appeal to me, particularly highly American style comedy ones, but it is definitely on my watch, and I'm sure I'll probably be pleasantly surprised, but one step at a time. Yes, and I'm sad Anime Club doesn't exist anymore. I don't watch nearly as much anime as I used to, and I feel like I'm lacking for it. But I am trying to, I started rewatching Fairy Tail, which I definitely remember enjoying a lot more than I enjoyed watching the second time. I rewatched Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which I still really freaking enjoy. And I'm thinking I need to rewatch Madoka Magica, and I need to rewatch Princess Tutu. And then after that, I think I'll probably watch something new. There are quite a few shows that I've been promising myself to watch for a very, very long time, so I will be probably watching some more anime. Officially on my schedule, Tuesdays is going to be a review day, so whether or not that's a film or an anime or maybe a book, I tend not to do that many book reviews because I feel like books are very, very personal in terms of their experience. But if I do watch an anime series or a new one which I haven't previously reviewed, that will be going up on Tuesday. Unless they bring Anime Club back, you never know. Moving on to another thoughts on something Skyrim video. Techie Kara talked about how the videos on SourceFed D&D talked about how the SourceFed game, it seems a bit silly that they've kind of made their own version of D&D when the actual rules for D&D aren't that complicated. I feel that a lot with the Skyrim, with the SourceFed D&D. I'm tired. With the SourceFed D&D, I do feel like they have oversimplified it. I think as Maud kind of develops her particular style of D&D, we will start to see slightly more perks and stats, kind of perks and minuses. I definitely feel like the class and the race had very little effect on the scores, because it's a D20 game rather than D&D, which is obviously D20s and other dice. It feels a lot more like, well, I described it as the kiddie version of D&D, but it's also like there's less effect for your choices. You can't cast a spell and it's a different dice roll. You always just cast a spell and it's a success, failure, or a mediocre response. You don't really have the level of complexity in that you could cast a spell, it could hit, and you could, you know, do it's just one of those things where I don't feel like there's the complexity in the mechanics to make the stories particularly detailed, but I will give it that there's a magic to D&D and playing in your own mindset with other people, which is why D&D is so amazing. It's playing in your sandbox, and in a sandbox where you do anything. And I will give that the Sourcefed D&D show does allow that sandbox of playing, and it does allow you to talk to cats and talk to your horse and have those moments of sheer, loopy weirdness that you only really get in RPGs. But it's definitely, I feel like it maybe shouldn't be called D&D. I feel like being called D&D is to get the D&D crowd in. I think it should be maybe some alteration on that, because it is kind of a very, very basic introduction, but I did describe it in that particular video as D&D for 7-year-olds. Not to say I didn't enjoy it, but I definitely don't enjoy it as much as other D&D and RPG shows that are on the internet. Geek and Sundry is a very good place to start for those. Moving on, 300 videos for my YouTube anniversary challenge. Ranger7 Studios said, "You can do it." I tried my best. I didn't quite get to 300 videos. I think I got to 297 videos before my YouTube anniversary / end of the year. I think with my YouTube anniversary video, I got to 297. It's all part of last year's playlist for Project Chronicle. So I did pretty dang well, but I didn't quite get to 300 videos. So I'm sorry, Ranger 7 Studios. I tried, I failed, but I tried really hard. This year, definitely, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna really try. On another Skyrim video, I edited together all the times I've referenced Critical Role, because I'm a dork. And during that video, Mark Amano probably didn't understand the critter talk, but did recognise the sound effect from picking up a drink from Fallout 4. I like that Bethesda does reuse its sound effects, but definitely one of those things you can't really control. On my very first thoughts Star Wars The Force Awakens video, I probably won't do a second review for Star Wars, just because there has been so much of a critique, and pretty much anyone who has a voice in any sort of level of movie reviews and critical analysis and storytelling and pop culture discussions has discussed Star Wars, whether it be in a very long form or very short form. So many people have done it. I don't think I'm going to be doing a second review for it. I haven't had a chance to watch it in the cinema for a second time anyway, but it's one of those things that I feel like there's so many discussions that are out there. I don't know whether or not I can add anything more for myself. I know how I feel about it, but I don't really feel like I could do a second video on the Star Wars The Force Awakens without covering subjects that have been covered by other. When I did that review, I'd specifically not watched anyone else's opinions, and since then I have watched a lot of different thoughts and different review processes on Star Wars The Force Awakens, and even though I feel on a conscious level that I haven't been influenced by other people in my thought processes towards the film, I'm sure on a subconscious level that I have been influenced by other people's opinions. So I feel like I should recommend that you go out, you do your own research, and if you can, keep your own opinion, because it's definitely one of those films that it's a very personal experience for a very public film. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that particular video. On to the comments. Jump to our videos. Adam said that he is much on the same page as me with that review. Big Virgo Tube says, "Finally, I can watch this." At the time he'd just watched it for the first time. I didn't particularly like the final moments between Skywalker and Rey, among a few other nitpicks, but it was a great movie. The problem that I had with the final scene, which is the only other person that I've talked to that I've noticed the same thing, is my cousin, and we were sat on Boxing Day and we were discussing the final scene, and the final scene is fine for me in terms of story and structure and acting. The thing that bugged both me and my cousin is that the final helicopter shot where they're going away from the island, it's either on a different frame rate or it's on a different camera or something. But for all of the gorgeous HD shots of the island, the final pan away is slightly grainy in, like, maybe not the most obvious way, but both me and my cousin both felt it, like on the, like, it's like the sound of, like, it's like the sound of styrofoam rubbing against styrofoam. It's that really high pitched sort of like noise, and we both felt it when we were watching that final sequence. That it, like, it's not bad. It just was one of those things that immediately took me straight out of that final shot. I was like, this is a helicopter shot, and they've switched cameras. And that was one of my, like, I didn't mind the rest of that scene. I think maybe it was slightly too much of a really big build up because it's going to be Luke. But I thought that in itself was fine. It was just that final shot with the different camera or whatever they did. It was just like, why? Why? But there we go. So the final scene, yeah. KSJ Hawker 94 said this movie does have a lot of ties with previous movies and characters and plot points. The storylines echo those movies. And it is a good movie, but I hope never ever to see another Death Star. I was hoping for a movie which stood more on its own, that might desire to see more than once, but this one left me just wanting to see the next episode. Yeah, it's one of those things that I've seen a lot in the debates, which is, it's either it's reliant on the next movie or it's, it should be a standalone movie. I think it's a very interesting phase that we are in movie history at the moment, in that most films are not designed to be standalone films, particularly franchise films. This is a franchise film. It was never designed to be a standalone movie. It was always intended to make you want to see the next one. And there is a great deal of information that is missed out of this film deliberately, or set aside or put in the background, so that when you watch the next film, you have somewhere to get your knowledge. It's like a murder mystery in a weird way. It's left gaps deliberately, so you'd be like, oh, what's the answer? What's the answer? Am I right with my guess? How are we going to find out the solution to this? And that's great. Like, that is brilliant storytelling for a franchise film, because it makes you want to watch the next film. That being said, there has to be a level of consistent whole storytelling. Now, obviously, again, I don't want to go into too much detail because so many people have discussed this before, but there is a debate that's going on at the moment as to whether or not appealing to the next film is a good thing or a bad thing. I think in this case, it's a good thing to appeal to the next film, because the story itself is still solid. It's still a good, complete story. If you were to watch this film alone, you could more or less understand the universe you're stepping into, and you could more or less, say, I'm not watching another film. I feel like the stories, there's a sort of a level of epic continuation that even if no other films were filmed, you can tinker with your imagination. But we are reliant on that second film if you're anyone else. I definitely feel like the debate is happening as to whether or not it's a good thing or a bad thing that things were incomplete. And you have to put it, because it's the only way to put it, you have to put it in the context that it is a franchise film. So I think it's a good thing that you're left wanting more, but at the same time, you're left wanting more. As for the Death Star plotline, it was one of those things that I commended that they actually owned up to it. Like, it's another Death Star, okay, let's move on. But I do agree that that plotline needs to go into the background. I do like the political aspects of the Star Wars universe, that it's, not necessarily just Jedi versus Sith. There is a whole intergovernment, non-Jedi force, a non-force sort of undertones. It's kind of like the normals can have political intrigue, and everyone's interconnected in a very public way with the governments. But I definitely I could do with seeing a lot more Sith versus Jedi and a little bit less giant Death Star, because that takes away from the thing that's really fascinating, at least for me, for the Star Wars universe, is the Jedi versus Sith sort of mythology, the the concept of the Force and the concept of this kind of religion that's a power that has influence in politics, which I find really, really interesting. While it kind of, I like that it's an equalizer as a Death Star. It's, you know, you have the power to move things, we have the power to destroy things, but it's not, and it takes the focus away from the Force, which is, I think, one of the most important and interesting parts of the universe. And I definitely feel like we need to move along from the Death Stars. I feel like if we were to do some sort of Death Star power, I think having like a conglomerate of Siths who can, you know, force something, like if they were to go together and do a huge wave of dark Force energy, I feel like that would be more interesting and more, you know, it would have a similar power, but it would be more based in the Force and the Sith Jedi mythology, which I'd be very interested to see. But we're probably not going to have that sort of thing, but we'll see. I just think, yeah, I agree. We probably need to move along from the Death Star. Talking of which, let's move along to Sonchakor 1 or Sonchakor I. That's a very Jedi name. Nice. First piece of yes. I think that's the problem with my compression software on that video, so sorry the audio is a little bit raw. I think the video quality is also a little bit less good than normal, so I apologise for the video's quality. I don't know what happened with my compression software. Moving on, I really want to go to bed, but it's going to be a long video. Happy Christmas / 3-year YouTubeversary. Thank you all for your good wishes and your thanks and all of those. Everyone who's been there for a long time, everyone who has just joined, you guys are amazing. I'll just quickly run through your names, but you guys are fantastic. Scott B, Mark Armano, Ono Figaro, Solace B, Dr. Fu Manchu, KSJ, Nathan Lyle, Ranger 7 Studios, DeadX6X, I can never get that right, Meg, Baxon, Junk Joy Videos, and Chris. Those are, I recognise all of your names. You are all old schoolers and the best schoolers. You've all been around for at least a good long time, and thank you all for your support. You guys are the ones that are always very consistent, very kind, and make this experience really fun. So thank you. Moving on to Hello New Year, Project 16 daily vlogging commence. I think that was my first video of the year. So Brett Evans suggested that he'd like to see me go to Germany and react to Ludwig's castles. I've been to Germany. I've never really seen any German or Austrian or European castles, sadly. I've seen a reasonable amount of UK castles, particularly the ones in Wales, and you know, most of the ones in England are either completely demolished or still active public buildings. As a child, I went to Warwick Castle a lot. In fact, I have a teddy bear somewhere from Warwick Castle, which I think was my 6th or 8th birthday. Which was really fun. I would like to go back to Middle Europe at some point. It's been a while. I've never seen Paris. That's my next European trip, I think, other than maybe Holland to see some relatives. But if I do travel this year, I will of course let you guys know and obviously take you along, because daily vlogging. Obviously, if I do that, it will be a mess up to the schedule, but bear with me. Baxorn says I've got a lot more spunk than he does. I think that's a spunk in the terms of, you know, commitment and kudos to do daily vlogging. So thank you, Baxorn. We'll see how it goes. It might not go very well, but so far I've done, this is the 14th. Well, it's 10 past 12 right now. So this is my video for the 13th. I did all the comments. I replied to your comments yesterday. I just haven't finished filming the video till today. But yes, so this is my video for the 13th. So I've done 13 videos in a row. I'm nearly in the 2 weeks into the year, so making progress. I'm doing okay so far. Big Virgo Tube says he was going to suggest me taking my take my vlog to work video. The thing with vlogging at work is I've mentioned it a lot when I'm modding on Twitch, and quite a lot of the time the other mods will be modding while at work, or people will be chatting and watching whoever they're watching, whether that be Trisha or Phil or source fed or whatever is going on. They'll be watching that while at work, and I just don't have the time when I'm at work. Regardless of whatever department I'm in, I don't have the time. I'm spending either all my time typing and focusing, because it's a lot of typing and focusing, or I'm on my feet all day, talking to people and all of that sort of thing. Like, I physically don't have the time to film anything while at work. Given that as well, most of my work is pretty dull. There isn't really a great deal of excitement that I do at work. And then, of course, on top of that, there's the privacy of, like, my work is pretty. I'm an admin assistant, but obviously I'm not allowed to talk about my company, or, like, it's not a big company or anything. It's just general rules of thumb with business practices. So I can't really do any of that. I don't really want to share my work side of things because work is boring, and not a part of my internet life. And on top of that, like, I don't think any of my colleagues would like to be filmed. And yeah, like, work Jenny and YouTube Jenny are pretty similar people, but they never really tend to meet that much. And I don't think it would be a good idea for me to cross those two paths. But there we go. I've shown you my commute to work. There's a video somewhere on my channel with my commute to work, so that's probably as close as you're going to get to work as maybe we will get. But we'll see. I'll leave the possibility open, but I'll leave that as very unlikely. Eric Dye said good luck. He's planning on doing a 52-week project with photography, so everyone wish Eric Dye some luck with his photography. That sounds like a really good challenge, and is hoping to do some sort of videos maybe as well. So woo, good luck, Eric Dye. And he's just, I do a new Thursday thing where I kind of mix things up. At the moment, the rough kind of schedule I've talked about a couple of times. Originally it was to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday kind of random vlogs. As I said on a previous video this week, I'm thinking of Sundays being a kind of mini movie fights type thing, just so I can get that movie fights discussion out. But I'm also thinking I might do some sort of like week in review type thing, where if I film something interesting during the week, then I can do like a full edited video where I do things, rather than kind of just set talking to a camera. But who knows? I will probably mix it up as I go. It's my channel, so it's very loosey goosey, playing around, having fun. KSJ says another year. How did the time go? And is planning on taking a big trip somewhere this year. I don't, and asked whether or not I made any resolutions. I tend not to use the term resolutions, because resolutions has a very non-committal aspect to it. It's one of those things that they say, if you're making a resolution, you shouldn't tell anyone, because in the end, if you tell someone, you believe that they will call you on it. But in the same way that Buffy, in the episode of Buffy Earshot, everyone's got their own problems, everyone's got their own thought processes. It's quite rare that someone else will actually enforce something for you. Obviously, it's different for things like sponsoring for Alcohol Anonymous, or, you know, if you ask for help from your doctor, you're going to get help from your doctor. But if you're asking a friend to tell you don't do the smoking, or don't do the drinking, or, you know, don't eat that chocolate bar, more often than not, they're not going to do that for you. And no matter how much they're connected to you, they've got their own business to take care of. So they say you're not supposed to tell people your New Year's resolution, because that way it somehow passes the kind of the willpower onto someone else and stops it from being your show and your commitment to your improvement. So I tend not to use the word resolution for many reasons. So my targets at the beginning of the year are to do certain things, and that's things that I can book and therefore have to do because I've spent money, or I've booked time off, or things like that. So I don't tend to do resolutions, I tend to do targets. So daily vlogging is a target. I'm going to try and do it. And so far I have. There we go. Oh no, Figaro says I'm looking forward to seeing more film reviews. Woo! I did one yesterday, so go watch that. Mark Amano says maybe more variety in the gaming videos. I have played a brand new game this year, so there we go. What I'm thinking with the gaming videos is I'm thinking of doing maybe 2 weeks of one type of game, 2 weeks of Skyrim, because that is my same old, and then 2 weeks of a brand new game. I do also play a lot of games with the Project Chronicle group. I played Don't Starve and Gary's Mod and Science Girls and Long Live the Queen and a bunch of other games, Cards Against Humanity. So I do play a reasonable amount of different games with those, particularly little indie ones. So if you do want to see some more variety on those sort of things, please do go subscribe to Geek and Sundry, not Geek and Sundry, Project Chronicle. Brain is not working, I'm tired. Please do go follow Project Chronicle, or follow them on Twitter, and that way you get most of the updates. On Puppy, Loot and Other, another Skyrim video. Big Virgo Tube says, you found a pup, did you? It's funny to watch me write to the dog. I did have a bit of a squeeperation when I got my first Skyrim puppy. He's so cute. I'm just scared I'm going to kill him. Carpet cleaning and playlist updates. So that was just a kind of organisation day type thing. Both Dr. Fu Manchu and Marco Menu asked what I actually spilled on my carpet. The thing with my carpet is a very dark purple carpet, which has been around for a very, very long time. And every 10 months or so, I usually get bored of my room layout and move furniture around. And clearly when I last did that, I spilled, there's probably more than one cup of tea that's been spilled on my carpet, and it's a very, very dark carpet, so for the most time it doesn't show. And then since my room has been repainted, so it's this lovely beautiful cream colour that matches my curtains, the light is slightly better, so the carpet shows up a little bit more, and I've removed my furniture, and some of the old stains from tea that was spilled long time ago, possibly 3 or 4 years, suddenly appears in little patches. So I'll clean my carpet to try and get rid of those, and it's better, but still imperfect. Let's go with that. It was not an innuendo, both of you. Tut 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 tut. But there we go. And my playlists were updated for last year, and so far the only playlist that I've updated for this year has been my daily vlogging playlist. So the first 13, when this video is online, videos will all be on that playlist in chronological order. And that makes it really easy for me to actually check how many videos I've done in the year. Obviously, it's slightly more complicated once I'm past the month of January and the days of the week don't match with the total number of videos, but we shall see how it goes. On my Naked Truth video response to Trisha Hirschberger regarding 2015, Baxon says he keeps wanting to make videos, but it's hard to find the time. I agree with that, hence why it is now quite late at night and I'm doing this, and I would rather be in bed, but this is also fun. And most of his spare time gets dumped into Fallout 4. I know that pain. It's kind of good in a way that I only really play Skyrim when I'm streaming, because otherwise I would be in that black hole, and I find it very, very easy to fall into a procrastination black hole. KSJ Hawker says Jenny drives the autobahn. Video. I still haven't booked lessons yet. I promise I will. Because I need to. On late night D&D updates, Big Virgo Tube says D&D ruined his college. I can understand that happening. Unfortunately, again, it's a scheduled event for me, so it's a limited time. It starts at 8, and the pub closes around 11. At least the bar closes around 11, so it's only 3 hours once a week. So at least my life isn't too sucked out by actual games, as it's an organised group. While the time it takes me to do all the spell prep and stuff, it takes a long time to level up when you're only doing 3 hours a week. So theoretically, I don't need to update my sheets for 3 to 4 weeks at a time, so that's nice. Meg says only Jenny would drink tea in a pub. Maybe. I did just get back from D&D, and yes, I had a big old brownie and a pot of tea, and it was lovely. KSJ says, a bacon fail, say it ain't so. Yes, I burnt the bacon black. I actually set fire to the grill pan. It was thin, like strips of bacon instead of full-size bacon, and I popped it in the grill, and one side was done, so I turned it over and I popped it up to my room to get something or something. And I had a timer on my phone for 2 minutes, but it turns out that when it's thin, streaky bacon, it cooks a lot faster than I'm used to. And my phone went off for 2 minutes and as I was running down the stairs, another member of my household was running through the house with an oven glove and the tray on fire. And then we had to spend the entire next hour airing out the house from all the smoke, and the bacon was black charcoal. It just crumbled. So yeah, I owed my house some apologies for that one. End of nothing day chill vlog. So I don't know which day of the week that was. But Big Virgo Tube said, "Wow, you're going to bed. I'm here at work." I find timelines, like time zones, endlessly fascinating. But you have to remember with these videos, this one's kind of the exception to the rule. Same with the gaming videos. Most of my videos take between 3 to 13 hours to upload, partially because of my internet time, partially because of my signal. If I'm uploading from a room, then the signal cuts out a reasonable amount, partially because it's a high HD camera. I think there's a lot of reasons for why it takes a long time to upload, but you can't really take those videos when you see them as the time actually is, unless I'm actually streaming. You have to add 6 or so hours on average. Nathan Lyle says, he remembers me saying that I daily vlog, but I don't have to upload daily. Wink, wink, wink. I'm going to try a daily vlogging thing. I already have, I think, 2 backup videos, which don't fit to schedule, so that if I do start to get behind, I can do that. I know at least one member of Project Comment, I think it's Ashley. She's doing filming throughout the week and then a video upload on the weekend. I'm challenging myself to actually film and upload every single day. We'll see how it goes, and as I said, whenever I get the chance, I'm going to be doing backup videos to kind of hold me over in case I'm having a day when I'm just too busy or traveling or I can't think of what to say or anything like that. But there's a lot of good things that daily vlogging challenges me to do on the daily. At the very least, it challenges me to put on nice clothes instead of PJs for most of my videos, and challenged me to actually do that instead of being in PJs when I'm not at work. Which I did a lot for last year's videos. It's one of those things that I noticed. I think I did an entire video on it, which was that I feel like all my videos featured me completely in my PJs. But there's a lot of things that daily vlogging actually challenges me to do, which I want to develop, like personal, like presenting myself and speaking and editing and technology, and there's a lot of social activities that come with daily vlogging, especially with the Project Commentary group, which I'm really, really looking forward to. So I am going to try daily vlogging on the daily and upload as much as possible on the daily. Obviously this one's not going to be uploaded until the day after it's due, but yesterday's movie review actually took, I started uploading it at around 11:30 in the morning, and then I went to work and I got home and there was still 17 hours worth of upload time because my internet disconnected. So yeah, so this video is up slightly late, even though I did all the work for it beforehand. But I'll try and keep it up as much as I can, and if I can't, then so be it. But if I can, I would really like to. Nearly drop my mouse. Okay. Mark Armano says, I could drink just plain hot water. Ugh. Well, I suppose that's I've shortened that. It's a lot better said in his comment. I can just drink plain hot water. I tend to do it, it's been my rule of thumb for a very, very long time. I get very easily dehydrated at night, and I wake up in the morning feeling often very, very physically unhappy. I get nosebleeds and headaches if I don't drink at least a pint of water before bed. So in the summer, having a nice cold glass of water is lovely. In the winter, especially given how cold my room is, hot water is much more preferable. Decaf tea just makes me sad. It just tastes like sad tea. Most herbal teas I don't mind, but I don't really want to have herbal tea after brushing my teeth. Hot water I did kind of I did a nice kind of scale down. I started with, you know, classic tea, and then I went to black teas, and then I went to herbal teas, and then I tried things like vanilla essence or lemon juice in my hot water. And now I can just drink plain hot water. It's really like, I can understand people thinking it's travesty, and I did think it was a travesty for the longest time, but it is. I find it very, very relaxing now. It's a nothing drink in the most physical sense. And it warms you, and I just find it's part of my night routine now. Obviously, if I'm staying up late, I'll have tea and I'll caffeinate, and occasionally I will have herbal teas before bed. But if I want just a hot drink before bed and I don't want to be up all night with caffeine, I do drink a pint of hot water. I know it's an appalling abomination on life, but you know, each their own. I'm a fifth generation eccentric. That is not the most eccentric thing I do with my life, but it's one of the things I do with my life. Moving on to Creativity and Credit, which was a vlog about my mini and Critical Role featuring some art of mine. Jolly Wave said, asked what my occupation was. I'm an admin assistant for a catering company, which means I get free lunches. Awesome. I am a big fan of food. I like the food so much. So yeah, I do that. But that's pretty much all the details I can give. Yeah, I pretty much do a bit of everything in the building wherever I'm needed within that purview. And yeah, I've been doing it for 3.5 years now, which is the reason why this year, depending on what happens at work, I might start looking for a change. Not because I don't enjoy my work, which I do, and it's one of the most convenient commutes of all time. It literally takes me 4 minutes walking or a minute and a half biking. It's the most convenient I could possibly get in terms of jobs. But it's also, you know, there's a point where having a job for a couple of years is really good. Having a job for slightly more years without progression, it's not so good. That's the only reason why I would look for a different employer, because I do enjoy my work and I really like my colleagues. But I've got to the point where there isn't really anywhere to progress from the place I'm in. And every 6 months to a year, I have progressed over the last 3.5 years, but I'm at the point where there's nowhere else to go in the current building. So I'm not going to suddenly be like, I quit, I'm doing my own thing. But I'm not going to, I need to start thinking about future things. But that's pretty much as far as the process goes. This year is thinking about future things in an actual active way. Learning how to drive is essential to that, as I don't exactly live out in the sticks, but I do live far enough away from employment opportunities that I do need to learn to drive. So, you know, I need to learn to drive as my first priority, and then after that, I need to think about the next stages. Joshua Chow from Texas, USA, one of the project chroniclers. He's actually done a video response to that video, which I'm talking about right now. So go check that out. I'll try and remember to put a link in the description, but I'm very tired, so I'm sorry, Joshua, if I don't. And says that he does a lot of creative stuff for school. Doesn't mean that he doesn't like it, but it is more work than it is play. Yeah, I can understand that. I'm at the point now that my job is very, very uncreative for the most part. So I can find a lot more joy when I have the opportunity to do creative things at work. Like every now and then I'll get to do some graphic art. I get to do some minor picture design for displays and stuff, which I really enjoy, or colour coordinate certain things so they're easier to read. And that sort of thing makes me happy. I've always been one of those, not necessarily, like OCD is not the right term, but I've always had when I have the opportunity to do attention to detail, I do like doing attention to detail. But when I don't have to, sometimes I am just a mess. So that aspect of my job I really like. It's one of those things, if I were to look for other job opportunities, I would like something with some level of display design or structured visuals. But there we go. But I'm at the point now that I can do creative things with my home life. So, you know, I just read in my bedroom, and I've got some part of my art on every single wall, and I play D&D, which is possibly the most creative thing I've ever done because it's just mind game creativeness. And I vlog and I do all those sort of things, so I can find the space to be creative now. It's one of the great things about being an adult, is that you can plan your time by what you want to do to a certain extent. So yeah, there we go. Nathan Last said, he said 2 in the morning on Wednesday rewriting scripts. They technically count as being creative, but they're also as work. I think I've talked about this before. I've got my 5 a day, and this is a very, very old system. I developed this when I was 13, and I've never really managed to actually hold up to it, but it is something that in the back of my brain every now and then I just click off, which is my 5 a day, which is reading, exercise, housework, creative, and future investment, which is always the one that's the hardest to do. And with those 5 a day, they often coincide. Never is one activity just one activity. One of the cheats that I always used to do was making dinner for the family when I was younger, and that covered creativity and it covered housework. It's a really old system. A lot of it just doesn't make sense as an adult person because you've got to do certain things anyway. But things like dancing, that covered creativity and exercise. Writing covered creativity and reading and writing to a certain extent. Like it was one of those things that like you never do one thing for just one reason. There's a line in A Dull House from Joss Whedon's Dull House, which is if you see someone running, are they running away from something or are they running towards something? And the answer is always both. So you can be creative while still working, and you can still, there is no creativity without work. And that's something that I said quite a lot in my Memoirs of a Geisha review as well. So it's all connected. Words and stuff's a thing. Good God, I wonder how long this video is going to be. I want to go to bed. Moving on. I was awake enough to film. As for the rest, 1, 2, 3 curiosity, 3, 2, 1 said that I should sleep well. I will sleep well tonight, I am sure of it. And Mark Armano says Tipsy Jenny should make subtitles for this. Tipsy Jenny should not make subtitles for Sleepy Jenny. That could end in complete and utter non sequiturs. What to expect from me this year? Final video of this video. Oh my gosh, I'm really not looking forward to clicking up to my webcam and seeing how long this video is. Baxon says that I should put some dancing videos and some VidCon videos into my channel trailer. Good idea. I was definitely going to put some dance videos. The main thing that I want to find first is music to set the trailer to, and then I can work out the rhythm and the pace, and then I can add in clips according to that song. But yes, I definitely, those two things are definitely on my list of things to add. He also said he loves my creativeness, so thank you. Big Virgo Troopers saw a side of me that he's never seen before with my happy dance. So, woohoo! Maybe I should do more dancing. The trouble is I don't want to turn this channel into a dance channel, and it would be so easy for me to just post me dancing in my various ways of being both trying really hard and really not trying hard. But it's not going to definitely not going to become a regular thing, but I will probably post more dance videos because I like dancing so much. Torsi said, bicycle repair Jenny, a girl who knows her way around a spanner. There was no spanners involved, unfortunately. I have very, very basic repair skills. I can do a puncture. Anything more exciting than that, and I would have to get some help from a more professional member of the family when it comes to bike repairs. But I can work out things if I need to. I'm one of those people who WD-40s a lot of the door frames in my house because I hate squeaky doors, particularly late at night because I'm always the one who's late up, and so it makes a lot of sense for me to be like the one who's like, I don't want to wake everyone in the house up with this squeaky door. But that's pretty much the extent of my technical DIY knowledge. Sean Wasek, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Says he likes my random vlogs and dancing movie reviews. So yes, definitely movie reviews. They're coming back in full force. / anime reviews. Dancing videos will come out by and by. And random vlogs. We'll see what comes out in the new year. KSJ says, I'm always 6 hours in this future. Yeah. Cats. Everyone loves cats. I will see if I can harass some more cats for the internet's pleasure. My cats don't generally like being on camera, and I don't usually like to abuse them. Oh my god, 45 minutes! Okay, most of the time, comment commentaries won't be this long. This has been several weeks, and there has been a lot of comments, and I'm tired, so it's not exactly the most organised comment commentary. But there we go. I will try and put more cats videos in. In the meantime, thank you for watching. For those of you who managed to make it to the end of this video, thank you. You guys are very kind and very generous, and probably in another tab right now, and you know, maybe you should be there because I'm not that entertaining tonight. But yes, thank you all for commenting. Thank you all for watching. Feel free to comment down below, and I might talk about you next week. I'm sorry this is 45 minutes long. There's a trick that one of my Project Chronicle friends uses, which is to put a secret word or phrase into the end of the video so that people who've watched all the way to the end, I can see who those people are in the comments. So my secret word for today is shoe. There is a shoes on my floor. So yeah, if you manage to make it all the way to the end, surreptitiously put the word shoe into your comment, so I know who you are, and I know who's crazy enough to watch a full 46 minutes of a girl talking to a camera about comments. There we go. I went off on a lot of tangents this week, so I'm sorry. I promise next week will be shorter and hopefully more awake. Theoretically, I should be able to get it done before D&D. Hopefully there won't be that many post D&D comment commentaries, but commentaries on Wednesdays, D&Ds are on Wednesdays. We'll see how it goes. But mostly I will try and get them done before D&D. But there we go. Thank you for watching. Feel free to comment, and I will see you guys all tomorrow for some form of video, and we'll see you all next week for another